You know what a diamond is worth when you're cold, hungry, and the power has been out for 2 weeks. Absolutely nothing. You can't eat it. You can't burn it. You can't use it to filter water or keep a wound from getting infected. It's a shiny rock that people decided was valuable because other people decided it was valuable. Remove the system that sustains that agreement and you're just carrying a shiny rock. Now, the thing you threw away last Tuesday, that one might actually matter. 7 items. All of them things most people discard without a second thought. All of them things that, in the right situation, solve problems that no amount of money or diamonds can solve once the system stops working. I'll be honest with you, some of these I learned the hard way. Which is, unfortunately, the only school I've had access to. Tuition was high. Lessons were good. You know what I'm talking about. So stay until the end because item number 1 is the one that's going to make you look at your trash differently for the rest of your life. Leave a like and subscribe if this is useful. Let's go. Here's something that took me longer than I'd like to admit to understand. Value isn't fixed. It's contextual. In a functioning system, value is determined by scarcity, by demand, by the social agreements that make commerce possible. A diamond is rare and people want it, and there's a whole infrastructure built around that want. So it's valuable. Remove the infrastructure. Remove the commerce. Remove the social agreement. Now value is determined by one thing only: what solves the problem in front of you right now. And the problems that collapse creates are not abstract. They're physical. Cold. Hunger. Infection. Darkness. Exposure. The items on this list solve those problems directly. Not because someone decided they were valuable, but because they work. And I can bet with you that most of them are sitting in your trash right now. Let's start with number 7. Item number 7, glass jars and bottles. The recycling bin outside most houses contains something that used to be considered worth protecting and transporting across continents. Glass jars. Glass bottles. Any sealed glass container that gets thrown away after the contents are finished. In a collapse scenario, a clean sealed container becomes one of the most immediately useful objects you can have. And glass specifically has properties that matter when you're working without infrastructure. Water storage. Glass doesn't leach chemicals into water over time the way plastic does, doesn't absorb odors, doesn't degrade. A sealed glass jar is one of the safest long-term water storage options available. And it's sitting in your recycling every week. Food preservation. Before refrigeration existed, glass jars were the primary food preservation technology for most of human history. That didn't change because refrigerators arrived. It just became unnecessary. Remove the refrigerator, and the jar becomes essential again. Fire. Glass can be used to focus sunlight for fire starting. A curved bottle filled with water acts as a lens that concentrates heat to a point. It's not the easiest method. But when you're out of matches and out of lighters, it's the method that's available. Contamination protection. Any small item that needs to stay dry, stay clean, or stay protected from the environment goes in a sealed glass container. Seeds for replanting. Medication. Documents. Anything where exposure means losing something irreplaceable. So how you can see, the jar didn't change. The world around it did. Item number 6, used cooking oil. Most people pour this down the drain or throw it in the trash after cooking. It's dark, it smells like whatever was cooked in it, and keeping it around feels vaguely unhygienic. In a collapse scenario, used cooking oil solves 3 separate problems that are genuinely hard to solve otherwise. Fuel. Cooking oil burns. Not as cleanly as purpose-made lamp fuel, but functionally, a shallow container of oil with a wick produces usable light for hours. Every improvised oil lamp in human history before Commercial fuel existed worked on this principle. It still works. Lubrication. Mechanical things, hinges, locks, tools, anything with moving parts, stop working correctly when they're dry and corroded. Cooking oil applied to metal surfaces prevents rust, reduces friction. Keeps things functional. Not ideal for precision machinery. Absolutely. Adequate for the door that needs to open quietly or the hand tool that needs to keep cutting. Skin and wound care. In the absence of commercial moisturizers or wound care products, clean oil applied to cracked skin, chapped lips, or minor abrasions provides a protective barrier against further damage and infection. This has been standard practice in most of human history. It works for the same reason it always worked. 3 problems. One thing most people throw away without thinking. Item number 5, newspapers and cardboard. Paper is the one thing most people have in significant quantity and treat as essentially worthless. In a collapse scenario, paper, specifically newspaper and corrugated cardboard, solves the one problem that becomes immediately life-threatening. Faster than almost any other. Cold. Newspaper stuffed inside clothing creates an insulation layer that significantly reduces heat loss. It's not comfortable. It's not pretty, but it's the last thing you will think about if the world is ending right. And it works on the same principle as purpose-made insulation, trapped air between layers that slows the transfer of body heat to the environment. Homeless communities in cold climates have used this technique for as long as newspapers have existed, because it works and it's available. Cardboard between a body and a cold ground surface, concrete, tile, bare earth, dramatically reduces conductive heat loss. The ground pulls heat from a body faster than cold air does. A layer of cardboard interrupts that transfer. Again, that's not comfortable, not ideal, but is the difference between a manageable night and a dangerous one in cold temperatures. Fire starting. Dry newspaper and cardboard are among the best fire starting materials available. Not as a fuel source, they burn too fast for sustained heat, but as kindling to establish a fire from a spark or small flame before moving to denser material. The thing nobody wants is doing a job that expensive gear was designed to do. Funny how that works. Item number 4, plastic bags, the heavy ones. Not the thin grocery bag. The heavy freezer bags, the thick garbage bags. The contractor-grade material that most people use once and throw away. Heavy plastic sheeting is one of the most versatile materials available. In a collapse scenario, and most households throw away significant quantities of it every week. Waterproofing. Wrapped around feet inside shoes, it creates a vapor barrier that keeps feet dry when footwear is compromised or when water can't be avoided. Wet feet in cold conditions lead to problems that escalate faster than most people expect. This is a simple, immediate fix. Shelter. A heavy garbage bag split along the seams and laid flat is approximately 2 square feet of waterproof material. Multiple bags combined create a rain barrier, a ground cover, a roof patch, a wind break. Not comfortable. Functional. Wound protection. Covering a wound with clean plastic prevents contamination in situations where proper dressings aren't available or have run out. Not a replacement for real wound care. A stopgap that buys time, which is sometimes all that's needed. Water collection. Plastic sheeting spread across a surface channels rain or morning dew into a container. In a water scarcity situation, passive collection from available surfaces is one of the few methods that doesn't require energy or tools. Heavy plastic bags. Most people have thrown away dozens this month without a second thought. Item number 3, dental floss. This one gets dismissed immediately when people hear it, which is exactly why it belongs on this list. Dental floss is one of the strongest, most compact, most multi-application cordage materials available. The waxed variety Specifically is water resistant, doesn't rot, doesn't lose strength when wet, and can hold significantly more weight than its diameter. Suggests suturing. In a situation where a wound requires closure and medical care isn't accessible, clean dental floss has been used as emergency suture material. This is documented in field medicine contexts. It's not ideal. It's what works when nothing else is available. Fishing line. Dental floss functions as fishing line for small to medium fish. Not fly fishing. Survival fishing, a line in the water. With whatever bait is available, catching protein when protein is scarce. Trap and snare construction. Small game traps require cordage strong enough to hold under tension. Dental floss handles this application reliably. Repair. Stitching torn gear, securing broken equipment, binding materials together, any application that requires strong, fine, water-resistant cordage. A single container of dental floss contains enough material for dozens of these applications. The container it comes in is also airtight, waterproof, and small enough to fit in a pocket. Most people go through several containers a year. Most people throw them away when they're empty without thinking about what they just discarded. Item number 2, empty medicine bottles. Small, airtight, waterproof, durable. The kind of container that pharmaceutical companies spend significant money engineering to protect contents from moisture, contamination, and physical damage. And most people throw them directly in the trash when the medication runs out. In a collapse scenario, a small airtight waterproof container is one of the most useful objects you can carry, just like the plastic and glass that I mentioned. Not for what it used to hold, but for what you can put in it now. Fire-starting materials. A waterproof container holds matches, a lighter, tinder, kept completely dry regardless of conditions. In cold and wet environments, having fire-starting material that is guaranteed to be dry is the difference between having fire and not having fire. Which is sometimes the difference between being alive and not being alive. Medication and medical supplies. The bottle was designed to protect medication. It still does that. Transferring critical medications, wound care supplies, or any small medical item into a sealed medicine bottle protects them from the moisture, contamination, and physical damage that collapse conditions create. Seeds. Small quantities of vegetable seeds stored in a sealed medicine bottle stay viable significantly longer than seeds stored in open packaging. In a scenario where food production becomes relevant, seed viability matters. Small hardware. Needles, fish hooks, small blades, matches, compact tools, any small item that needs to stay organized, protected, and accessible. The bottle keeps it together, keeps it dry, keeps it findable. It's also small enough that most people can carry several without noticing the weight. 3 seconds to rinse it out. The difference between having it and not having it is whether you threw it away. Item number 1, knowledge written down. I know. You were expecting something physical. Bear with me. In a collapse scenario, a real one, sustained, where infrastructure has been disrupted for weeks or months, the single most valuable thing a person can have isn't food or water or shelter, as critical as all of those are. It's the ability to produce food, find water, and build shelter when the initial supply runs out. That ability lives in knowledge. Specific, practical, applicable knowledge. How to identify edible plants in your geographic region. How to purify water without commercial filters. How to treat specific injuries when medical care isn't accessible. How to preserve food without refrigeration. How to start fire reliably in wet conditions. Most people have access to all of that knowledge right now, for free, through the internet. Most people assume the internet will be available when they need it. The single most underrated preparation anyone can make, cheaper than any piece of gear, lighter than any supply, is printing or writing down the specific practical knowledge relevant to their location and situation. Putting it in a waterproof container. Keeping it accessible. Not a survival novel. Not a general guide. Specific. Local. Practical. What plants grow in your area and which ones are edible? What water sources exist within walking distance and how to treat them? What injuries are most likely and how to manage them without a hospital? Written down. On paper. In a form that doesn't require electricity. Doesn't require a signal, doesn't require a device with a charged battery. I've met people who could recite gear lists in their sleep and couldn't identify a single edible plant in the area they'd been living in for 20 years. The gear runs out. The knowledge doesn't. That's why it's number one. Look at what all 7 of these have in common. None of them were designed for collapse. The glass jar was designed for food storage. The oil was a cooking byproduct. The newspaper was information delivery. The plastic bag was convenience packaging. The dental floss was dental hygiene. The medicine bottle was medication protection. The written knowledge was, well, that one was always just knowledge. None of them are on any survival gear list. None of them have a tactical aesthetic. None of them would make a compelling product photo. What they share is that they solve real physical problems directly. Without requiring infrastructure, without requiring supply chains. Without requiring anything except the understanding that they work. And the instinct not to throw them away. That instinct, seeing use where most people see waste, is itself a survival skill. Possibly the most transferable one there is. Because in a collapse scenario, the people who look at their environment and see resources where others see garbage have an immediate practical advantage that no gear purchase can replicate. It's not about being poor. It's not about being unprepared. T's about seeing clearly what's actually in front of you. T's about seeing clearly what's actually in front of you. Most people have been trained by abundance to filter out anything that isn't already packaged as valuable. Unlearn that, and the world looks different. Your trash is smarter than your bug-out bag. Not all of it. Don't go through your garbage looking for diamonds. That's a different kind of problem. But some of it. The glass. The oil. The paper. The plastic. The floss. The bottles. And the knowledge, which isn't in your trash, but you will miss if you don't have it. None of this costs anything. That's the part that gets me every time. The gap between prepared and unprepared, for most of these items, is 3 seconds over a trash can. 3 seconds. 3 seconds. If this changed how you look at what you throw away, leave a like. Subscribe, because there's more of this coming, and most of it is just as free. And don't forget, know the place before you need the place.